girls. On the foreign scene, European Union demand end to fighting in Syria. And in sports, Russia's Olympic membership is restored by IOC. Details of this and more in a moment. Please do stay with us. Another news in full. Senate says it may take a major legislative decision as majority of the ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, have refused to either submit details of the 2018 budget proposal or the amendments as requested by Senate committees. The Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Sonny Ogboji, stated this in Abuja on Wednesday while briefing all the lawmakers on the status of the 2018 budget. The lawmakers subsequently resolved to give another one-week ultimatum to the MDAs, after which the committees will work only with the appropriation as submitted by President Muhammadu Buhari. The Senate had on February 14 issued a one-week ultimatum to 63 government agencies who are yet to submit details of the 2018 budget proposals. Despite the expiration of the ultimatum, Ogboji said most heads of agencies have refused to interface with the Senate committees for consideration of the proposals. The United Nations has expressed outrage over the abduction of 110 schoolgirls of Government Girls Technical College, Dapchi, Yobe, by suspected Boko Haram terrorists. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in a statement, strongly condemned the abduction and attack. Guterres called for the immediate and unconditional release of all missing girls and their safe return to their families. The UN chief urged the Nigerian authorities to swiftly bring those responsible for this act to justice. He reiterated the solidarity and support of the UN to Nigerian government and other affected countries in the region in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has advised state governors to work closely with the police to set up a schools protection unit to prevent further attacks and abduction of schoolgirls and school children. The Vice President gave the advice in Kaduna on Wednesday. Osinbajo said the police needed support from all fronts, considering the multi-dimensional security challenges bedeviling the country. He noted that if political officers are given adequate security, all public and private schools across the country must also enjoy the same. In another development, Nigerians have asked the federal government to go beyond the committee set up on the Dapchi school kidnap to holistically tackle the security shortfall, especially around the schools in the northeast and Nigeria as a whole.
Why is it that government, upon all the troops, all the military, all the law enforcement agencies that we have, they are still waiting until something happens before they will now begin to find for solution? It has happened once. Our military men, our troops, government should not allow them to relax. They should send them to various places to avoid this happening. They are not coming from heaven. It's just within ourselves. Talk more of even organizing 12-man committee. They should increase their effort in sending our troops to all these places to avoid this happening. Because if it continue happening, it's a way of spending and wasting government money and resources.
Any slight issue in this country, they will set committee. Boko Haram committee, Fulani herdsmen committee, religious crisis committee. Now 110 girls have been kidnapped. Only 12 people were set to sit down on this matter. Why wouldn't they bring 100 people to sit down and discuss one person per missing person? This is the same thing we talked about security. We are over 180 million people in this country. Our police system is no more than 2.5 million. How would they secure 180 million people, for Christ's sake? There is still insecurity. Why should we continue to face the same old problem? More than 200 girls were kidnapped from Chibok. We have not finished settling that problem. There was a committee set up for that one. Billions have gone into that committee's purse. Nothing has happened. Now it is Yobe. Why committee? Why not just send troops? What will solve this problem is for the government to sit down and give security to areas where security are needed.
Nigerian government is ready to protect life and property of the masses of this nation. Mr. President should send troops to Yobe in search of those girls than to form a committee that they will sit here in Abuja and be making law of what is happening in another state. To me, it's uncalled for. He should banish the committee and send the army to go and do their work.
The federal government on Tuesday set up a 12-member committee to unravel the circumstances surrounding the abduction of the schoolgirls. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed said the committee will, among other things, ascertain the circumstances surrounding the abduction of the girls and also recommend measures to prevent future occurrence. And still on security matters, Minority Whip of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Balde, has expressed displeasure over the reckless destruction of lives and property in the recent Kasuan Magani violence in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. The lawmaker in a statement in Kaduna Wednesday appealed to everyone to exercise restraint in words and actions under the present situation. He observed that Kasuan Magani was one of the most cosmopolitan part of his constituency and has the largest weekly market in that state. Balde, who represents Kajuri Chiman Federal Constituency, said Nigerians from across the country have contributed to the economic growth of that area. He said any attempt to destroy that positive growth through negative application of religious stands condemned. The need to tolerate one another and cohabit peacefully, irrespective of religion, tribe, race, and ethnic differences, is very necessary for a healthy society. Those who spoke with us called on religious leaders in the country to always preach peaceful coexistence amongst members of other faiths. They made the call while reacting to the recent religious crisis in Kaduna State that left many people injured and dead.
There's no end of this religion that do not believe in peace. And to crown everything, Nigeria, one of our symbols of this country is peace. And the peace is in our hand. And the only peace can only practice peace if Hausa man can know that Igbo man is a Nigerian. Igbo man can know that yes, he can accommodate Hausa man unless we identify that we are one. If not, there's nothing like peace. Example, but a situation whereby somebody from another place has been given an opportunity and all of us collaborated and we support the administration, there's no way that peace cannot manifest himself.
Charity begins at home. Those leaders or those preachers who preach peace should learn to preach it and do it so that the followers will listen and do what they are doing. Because if you are telling me not to kill and then behind closed door you go and kill, then you are indirectly telling me to go and kill too. There is no book that preach killing. It is not written anywhere. All the books preach peace. So why not imbibe in this preaching of peace? Why should we go the wrong way?
An average Hausa man doesn't know that an Igbo man is his brother. A Yoruba man doesn't know that somebody from South is his brother. Then how can peace come in? Until we have one understanding that we are called to be one in Nigeria before we can talk about peace. A hungry man doesn't think of peace. If the person that is sending him to commit that crime is providing for his need, government should do their own, creating atmosphere of peace. Then the heads of each community should do their own and they educate their subjects on issue of peace. Family, parents has a lot of work to do on their children. Church leaders have a lot to do. Islamic leaders, religious leaders has a lot of work to do. I cannot sit as a father and see my children damaging something in my house and allow them. If you allow them to grow up with it, that is how it continue. Let's give peace a chance, and it can only happen when we understand that we are one.
Federal Capital Territory Administration FCTA says it is set to rehabilitate its centers in order to train and empower any commercial sex worker arrested. Speaking with FCT correspondents in Abuja, Secretary Social Development Secretariat Oladimeji Hassan said this is part of efforts to rid the city of commercial sex workers who have formed a huge nuisance in the territory. Hassan said it is not enough for the FCT task force to pick them up from the streets without having a system to keep them away from going back to that same street.
Once they are picked up, they are released to us for training to impart new skills on them so that you don't need to go back to the road. And we have a program 2018 to see how we can embark on a massive training so that as soon as they are picked up, we give them training in all kinds of skills. And at the end of the day, we also give them startup pack so that we not just go home. Because if you leave them, no matter how much training you give them, you don't give them the resources, they still go back.
March 1st is Zero Discrimination Day. The day is set aside to promote diversity and recognizes that everyone counts. It also celebrates everyone's right to live a full life with dignity, regardless of age, gender, nationality, skin color, height, weight, profession, and even beliefs. Those who spoke with us said though many countries have laws against discrimination, implementation of the laws has always been an issue.
People should learn how to live together, whether you are black, whether you are red, Indian, any color. We should learn how to be together. I know that in some countries, even the albinos were condemned, we are even killed. It is bad. And this day condemn such act. Especially in this country, we have the major tribes or languages, Yorubas, the Igbos, and Hausas. I know there are areas that people actually discriminate because we are not from Hausa or Yoruba or Igbos. They tend to make it difficult for you. This day actually look at that as very bad, and we should learn how to live together. Disabled persons, which is very important, some people look at them as people that were not supposed to live together. We are one and we must live together.
Today being World Zero Discrimination Day, people should not discriminate against one another, no matter your race, no matter your color, no matter the state you are from, no matter your religion. I don't even entertain the idea of discrimination in whatever form it comes, because discrimination can come in so many forms. Some may say, I don't discriminate, we are all Nigerians and stuff like that. Sometimes discrimination can even happen even within a family. You can discriminate among your siblings, you can discriminate among your co-workers. So today being Zero Discrimination Day, I want to urge each and every one of us, my fellow Nigerians, that we should desist from the act. We should endeavor to embrace one another, especially those living with disabilities. We should learn to accept them, because the fact in life is that nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows what is going to happen in the next minute. Treat your neighbor the way you want them to treat you. Love one another just as Christ loved you, and be good to one another.
Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has warned resident electoral commissioners and administrative secretaries against involvement in partisan politics ahead of the 2019 general elections. Speaking in Abuja, the INEC boss also charged them to remain on the side of Nigerians, whom he said deserved nothing less than free and fair election. He reiterated that the commissioners are responsible for the implementation of the policies and programs of INEC in the states and called for synergy between the headquarters and the states in terms of policy and practice. And from there, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. And on the foreign scene, the European Union's top diplomat has written to the foreign ministers of Russia, Iran, and Turkey, urging them to uphold a ceasefire in eastern Ghouta and allow aid into besieged areas. Appealing to them as leaders of the Syrian peace talks, EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini called on them to implement a genuine humanitarian pause for at least 30 consecutive days throughout Syria. Mogherini in the letter also urged Russia, Turkey and Iran to take all necessary steps to ensure that the fighting stops and the Syrian people are protected. According to him, a ceasefire would give a chance for UN-led peace talks to make progress. And in sports, Russia's Olympic membership has been restored by the International Olympic Committee (IOC) following its suspension from Pyeongchang 2018. Russia was banned from February's games by the IOC over state-sponsored doping. Before Sunday's closing ceremony in South Korea, the IOC had said the ban would be lifted so long as there were no more anti-doping violations. The IOC said all the remaining tests on the Olympic athletes from Russia team came back negative. The IOC in December banned Russia from competing in Pyeongchang, having concluded that it ran a systemic state-sponsored doping program during the Winter Olympics it hosted in Sochi in 2014. And that's the news this hour, but we'd like to also remind you that Senate has raised alarm over heads of NDA's refusal to submit details of 2018 budget proposals. Dapchi abduction, UN calls for release of missing girls. On the foreign scene, European Union demand end to fighting in Syria. And in sports, Russia's Olympic membership is restored by IOC. And that's the news this hour. Thank you for listening. My name is Oikike Igado Kure.